Welcome, everybody. Thanks so much for staying patient with us. Sorry to start a few minutes late. Really excited to be here with you today. My name is Chris Lavoie, and I lead tech partnerships at Gorgias, which is a customer support help desk built for e-commerce merchants. We're here today with another episode of our Gorgias Tech Partners series, where each month we bring on some of our top partners to speak on a really important topic that is really helpful for merchants in the e-commerce space to help optimize their business. This month's topic is all about pre-sale conversion optimization, which we know the brands with us today invest a lot of money in trying to increase their pre-sale conversion. And so we've assembled a panel of experts across the industry whose product and platform will help you achieve that very goal. And so I'm just going to start off today by introducing the logistics of this webinar, and then we're just going to get right into it. Awesome. And so I told you a little bit about the series. We have specific topics each month that speak to a topical theme. So we've done events on preparing for online returns, loyalty and customer retention, omni-channel best practices, mobile commerce best practices. And so this is just another event in line with that is intended to help you achieve a specific goal, in this case, pre-sale conversion. The only thing that we ask from you is that you're engaged, you ask questions, you answer the polls. So each partner has provided a few poll questions that I'm going to publish throughout the presentation. It's meant to collect important feedback from you. And then the best thing you can do is just ask questions. Certainly, I'll try to get the speaker live to answer questions for you, but if we're not able to get to all of your questions, there is a questions function on the platform that we're using today, so you can post your questions there. And so, yeah, definitely, this whole webinar was built for you, the brands with us today, to learn as much as possible. So the more you post and ask questions, the more you're going to get out of it. So of course, you're not going to leave here empty-handed. You're obviously going to walk away with a lot of new information and hopefully some potential vendors to work with. But we're also going to be giving away a number of special prizes. So each of the partners with us today has been gracious enough to offer up a pretty cool prize. You can see them featured on the screen here. And the way that this works is that you have to be on air with us when these prizes are announced. And so each speaker is going to have a 15-minute speaking slot. We'll finish with Q&A. And at the end of that, we're going to randomly select one lucky winner who is on air with us today. So you need to stay with us throughout this presentation to win one of these great prizes. Awesome. All right, we're ready to kick things off. As I mentioned, this webinar is all about conversion optimization. We've assembled a great panel with you today. We're going to start off with our presenter from Justuno. And so, Stephanie, can you please join us on stage and get your screen up and running?
Hey, everyone.
Awesome. All right. Hey, Stephanie, you can go ahead and get your, I'm just going to, whoops, stop sharing my screen. And then you can go ahead and get your screen going. And then I'm just going to give you a quick introduction.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. All right. Well, really excited to have Stephanie from Justuno with us today. She is the professional services success strategist with Justuno. Fun fact about Stephanie, we always do fun facts with all our presenters, is she's a Midwest gal who hated the cold, but recently discovered a passion for snowboarding, which is pretty awesome. And Steph is driven by the opportunity to help merchants strategize their goals in the e-commerce world. And she aims to create relationships with merchants to provide a conversion-focused e-commerce insight and recommendations. So no surprise that she's a perfect fit for today's webinar. With that, the floor is all yours, Stephanie.
Thank you so much. I hope everyone is having a great day, and we've got a lot to chat about today. For my section, definitely a focus with Justuno and what Justuno is capable of as a tool, and then broadly focusing on optimizing your funnel before the sale. So that means what that visitor is experiencing and what their journey is during their journey on site. So the first thing that I really like to touch on with any client is lead capture. And with lead capture, that can be anything that is a first name, an email, an SMS offer as well. And with lead capture, it's something that we do want to have set up as a more of a welcome offer. And, oh, I believe getting a weird sound there. With our lead captures, we do also want to have that second part set up. So not only capturing the leads, but following up with email cadences. So that could mean anything from welcome to the family, thanks for subscribing, or even providing those offers in the email for them to use. A lot of great things can come out of just general welcome lead captures, and it has to do with first-party data. With first-party data, that can be name, geolocation, gender. With this in mind, or with the thought of capturing this information, we want to make sure we're using that in other ways as we're monitoring this kind of visitor and what they're doing on site. So for geolocation, for example, if we only have certain products that are available within a certain state, then knowing that information, targeting those groups and showing them the appropriate products or products, whether it be upsell or cross-sell, is going to be key to personalizing that experience. Personalized messaging on or off site dramatically improves conversion rates. And you can think of it more as just how would you speak to your visitors? How would you want them to portray you outside of the website? Anything to get them back to your website and to highlight why it's best to purchase with you, whether it be the experience or just the fun copy that you have, that can take you a long way. All right, A/B testing is something that will really help you not just optimize, but better understand where people are and at what place they're at when they're maybe leaving your site or entering your site. So testing your middle of the funnel is key here. Who is your middle of the funnel audience? They're interested, but how do you turn that into a conversion? That can be in the form of personalized pop-ups. So we talked about geolocation. Maybe if it's a special birthday, we're targeting just certain time during the day that someone's visiting as well. And we can also test those email and SMS flows. Maybe those new visitors are better for an SMS cadence, or maybe we get more engagement when they sign up for email. So knowing that can really help you optimize what kind of messaging you show during their journey. Advanced personalization with Commerce AI. It's great to test upsells and cross-sells. Within Justuno, this is something that is more automatic for you to set up and allows you to play with a lot of different options just depending on where you think the visitor is whenever they're visiting. So with product recommendations, you can automatically set those up, and it's great to also think about it from different steps in the design that you're presenting. So maybe we're testing against something that's been really solid for us for a while, or different design elements, even different offers. Those are different A/B tests that we go to often, but with the design elements and with any kind of copy changes or offer types, you can break it down by segment too, knowing maybe what new visitors really convert at, or just testing those return visitors on a certain visit. We'll get into that. So with advanced targeting, this also leads on what we just talked about with A/B testing. It's advanced A/B testing, advanced targeting, and it just means we're getting really nitty-gritty with the type of visitor we're tracking and what we're wanting to show them. So with session and sourcing. With session targeting, we want to show messaging that's relevant to the visitor based on the data we collect. So that can be anything from a birthday or knowing what their first URL was that they traveled to, understanding if they tend to go to a blog first and then visit our actual shopping store. Those are really key in knowing what information, maybe in offers that we want to show them. For source targeting, we want to analyze the effectiveness of other channels to make those decisions. So really working and understanding where maybe a Facebook visitor, we need more engagement versus we need to show them something else, something as an upsell or cross-sell. So an example, more website traffic from Google ads, but visitors from Facebook ads have a higher conversion rate. That's information that you can find within Justuno in testing promotions, and knowing that you can A/B test different types of offers to these specific ad sets. Top sources could be paid search, Facebook, Instagram, email, offsite campaigns. Wherever you're putting a lot of your money, that's a great place to start, really optimizing that channel. And then, of course, just knowing where your visitors are really talking about you. So paid search, that's something that you're more being proactive about. Facebook and Instagram, maybe you're getting a lot of reviews out of there that you can take advantage of for content. All right. For exit offers and cart abandoners, that's a moment where we are looking at a visitor that's intending to leave the site. They could have something in their cart, they could not have something in their cart. We can also think about this in terms of engagement, if they've engaged before, if they are an engaged visitor in general. So these offers usually give a visitor a final push towards conversion before they exit. And by analyzing their behavior and tracking their values, that's where we're able to see maybe at what point we really present those offers. So targeting and timing. A repeat purchaser may only convert with a 15% discount. That seems very specific, but if that's a big chunk of your traffic, then that's a route that we should test, and it's an audience that deserves a little bit more attention. A first-time abandoner is a great targeting audience for us. Source tracking, like we talked about before, where you're putting in your money, that's a really great place to start. And first-time abandoners, those are those new shoppers that for some reason they're abandoning. Maybe it's free shipping or the shipping is an issue. Showing them a free shipping offer, a reminder would be really ideal there. For us, we do like to think of these middle of the funnel visitors as really unique, and likely they've already seen or been touched by your site or your brand in some way. So you might need to account for longer purchase periods or just longer than you might expect. Great thing to research for yourself. And ideally, we're wanting to deliver the message in a really organic way that feels like discovery. Perfect. And getting into just, with all of this testing and all of the options that you have to be able to present different offers, it's great to have a strategist on board, which comes with Justuno Plus. This strategist is, like myself, and able to provide the opportunities in using Justuno and everything related to conversion rate optimization on site. Of course, we do like to look into what you're doing off-site, what those areas are where we can really work well together with anything else that you might be using to drive traffic to your site. We can create those highly personalized promotions. So that goes along with A/B testing and really finding the right items to test that will deliver results or just a little bit more clarity for us. And then along with A/B testing, we incorporate Commerce AI, which is our upsell or cross-sell, our smart algorithms, and the ability to incorporate any kind of promotions quickly and with training as well. All right, to get out of here.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, if you could just pop your screen up back again there, Stephanie, we're going to do a special, no worries. Yeah, thanks so much, first of all, for that great presentation. We're going to answer a few questions which have trickled in, and then we'll get to that special giveaway from Stephanie. So first question for you, Stephanie, is from Brittany. She's asking, how exactly does the control group variant work?
How exactly does the control, I'm sorry, what was that last part?
How exactly does the control group variant work?
Yeah, that's a great question. With the control group variant in A/B testing, that can be something, for example, if we're testing a lead capture, our control would be showing nothing to the visitor audience. The second version might be us actually showing the lead capture, and we could even get creative with an ABC test and show a lead capture that has email and SMS. Ideally, at the end, the control group is just a visitor that is going along with no Justuno or pop-up influence. And we're comparing that journey to a journey that is interrupted with an email or a lead capture.
Awesome. Yeah, this is a popular talk. A number of questions rolling in here. One from Nicholas or Nicola Cherry that was echoed by Eric is, would love to hear about powerful ways to grow our mailing and phone list without always offering discounts.
Yeah, for growing, so mailing and phone list, I would say it's really dependent on testing. Just, yeah, offers is great, but also where you're presenting that. Maybe looking at an in-page version of an email capture or SMS opt-in, and also understanding what the difference is with desktop and mobile. It's not always going to be the same. Where they engage might not always be the same. So even testing pages, surveys, and different kind of messaging can go a long way.
Awesome. That's great. And then Ken Walker is asking, is there a tiered pricing structure for Justuno Plus?
Is there a tiered pricing structure? I wish I had more information on pricing. I don't believe there's tiered pricing structure. It's more just based on what your goals are and what your needs are. There's different levels that you can sign up for.
Got it. Awesome. Well, that was fantastic. We do have to keep going. There does seem to be a number of questions, Stephanie, that you can answer offline. We are going to get to the Justuno special prize, which was a SodaStream Fizzy Pack, which is a great giveaway. So I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm going to randomly scroll through people online. Apologies for the awkwardness of this. And I'll announce the winner. Here we go. All right, the lucky winner is Larry Morgan. Larry Morgan, I'm just going to take note of your email. So congratulations,
go, Larry.
Larry. Larry. So Larry, we'll get in touch with you. I have your email. We'll contact you afterwards and get your address, and then Justuno will be shipping that shipping that prize over to you. Awesome. And thanks again so much, Stephanie. That was a great presentation.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're going to keep the show going, and we're going to bring up Sina from Tapcart. Hey, Sina, how are you? Oh, I think you're muted there. Just one moment, just getting the microphone unmuted for Sina.
Sounds like it's working now, hopefully.
We're good to go. Yeah, if you want to share your
awesome.
screen, Sina, I'll tee you up with an introduction.
Sounds
Sweet.
good.
All right. Sweet. So yeah, thrilled to be joined today by Sina, who is the co-founder and COO of Tapcart. A fun fact about Sina, which I think is pretty awesome, is he launched the 250th app on the App Store, and now, of course, there are millions. So that's a pretty badass fun fact. He makes Tapcart. They make it simple for e-commerce merchants to launch a mobile app on iOS or Android, allowing brands to create and grow an own marketing channel of push notification subscribers. I've seen him showcase this to me live, and it's amazing how fast and seamless they can make this process, and how beautiful these native mobile apps can really be. So really excited to have you with us today, Sina, and the floor is all yours.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction, Chris. And thanks to all the attendees who have made this webinar. Really interested in sharing with you some more information about how you guys can benefit in your marketing channels, as well as benefit by planting some seeds now that you can benefit from when it comes to the holidays. Stephanie, I loved all the information that you provided as well. That was super informational. So as Chris mentioned, what Shopify does is we allow, what Tapcart does is we allow Shopify brands to launch a mobile app for their store. So it'll be your very own white label iPhone and Android app. We launched in 2017. I'm one of the co-founders, and we're based in Santa Monica. What's great about Tapcart is that it syncs with your Shopify store. So you can get up and running in a matter of hours. You can get your mobile app live in a matter of weeks. And with our dashboard, you can update it in real time. And we're powering a few thousand of the world's top Shopify brands, Fashion Nova, Culture Kings, Brandy Melville, and a whole lot more. But it really works for Shopify brands of all sizes. And I'll explain why in just a moment. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is how to optimize your marketing spend, how to make the most of it this holiday season. You might be thinking it's way too early to start thinking about the holidays. And you might be right, depending on what your job function is. But I know that really large Shopify brands like Gymshark, for example, they had their first Black Friday meeting in, I believe, May of last year. So it's never too early to start getting ready, start thinking about things. There's just so much money being poured into Black Friday and Cyber Monday and the holidays as a whole that it's never too early really to start thinking about it. And the way that you're able to do that is, I think way too many brands, what they do is they make all their plans in the middle of the year, but their plans include ramping up on paid acquisition in September, October, maybe early November. And those are among the most expensive times of the year to pay for paid social ads, paid search, et cetera. There's just so much demand and not enough supply for the ad units that are being seen on paid social that it's insanely expensive to try to generate new subscribers or new customers during those months. So what I would recommend to you is a much better strategy is during the off seasons throughout the year. There was a bit of a dip recently with iOS 14.5 coming out. There's typically a lull in mid to late summer as well. Not as many advertisers are looking to place ads because they're gearing up for the holidays. So if you can, one, try to focus more on getting your paid acquisition spend a little bit earlier in the year, because it's going to be a lot less expensive to get somebody to opt into your email list, purchase one of your products potentially. But what I recommend for any e-commerce brand who's looking to have really effective paid social or paid acquisition campaigns, I see too many e-commerce brands who try to just directly get orders. You place an ad, you have somebody click, you're not really capturing their email. More likely than not, they're not going to purchase something the first several times they see your ad. You have to build the trust and the brand value and a whole lot more. But if they don't convert, you've basically just lost that money forever. So what I recommend having your campaigns focus on is generating subscribers, whether it's an email subscriber, SMS subscriber, even a messenger subscriber, or a push subscriber. Focus on getting subscribers because it's a much better long-term strategy and a much better way to spend your money long-term. Orders, you might get a quicker ROI right from the outset, but in terms of long-term ROI, when you get that first subscriber, you can now continue to market to them at no extra cost on whichever own marketing channel that you got them to subscribe on. So these are the really common own marketing channels that are out there: email, SMS, Facebook Messenger, and push notifications. And Klaviyo and some other top marketing automation platforms, they allow you to do email and SMS. There's a lot of people that are coming in the SMS space, but there aren't that many vendors who can get you a push notification marketing channel because that would require launching an app. Fortunately, Tapcart is one of them, and the plans start at just $99 a month. But when you're thinking about which own marketing channel you want to get subscribers for, I always recommend take an omni-channel approach. So I'm not saying don't specifically miss out on any of these. You want to get your SMS list, you want to get your messenger list, et cetera. But there's clear advantages to email and push notifications that I believe are the best long-term strategy if you needed to pick two of these marketing channels. SMS is great because it has the real-time component that push does. But once you have 100,000 recipients on your list that you want to send an SMS to, that's going to cost you at least $1,000. So when it comes to scalability and growing with the right marketing channels, I feel that push is a much better option than SMS because, one, it has the real-time component SMS does, and it even offers a better experience because instead of just taking somebody to your website, you can take them into an app. But most importantly, it doesn't cost extra money to send push on our platform. The other thing I wanted to share with you is how to get a higher return on your ad spend from your paid acquisition as well. So in order to do this, there's a few types of campaign types out there. I mentioned link clicks earlier. Another type is mobile app install campaigns. Mobile app install campaigns, not many e-commerce brands are experimenting with these right now. And that's primarily because not every e-commerce store has a mobile app currently. So there's not enough demand to fill these mobile app install ads. Whereas if you have a link click ad, which just takes somebody to a product on your website, every single e-commerce store has a website. So it's a lot more competitive. You can get mobile app installs done for a little bit more expensive than your average link click ad, but it has three benefits that will have you see a much higher return on your ad spend overall. One, it's a lot more valuable in terms of what you get for the spend. So you're only paying when somebody installs your app and opens it once. That's great because it's like purchasing a little piece of real estate on somebody's phone. Also, you get to offer a much better experience, a mobile website versus a native mobile app. The mobile apps are a lot faster. For all the reasons that you use Instagram on your phone, do you use their mobile app, which is fully functional, or just use the mobile website, which is fully functional, or just use their mobile app? Everyone uses the app, and you guys know all the reasons why. But the most important part that I'll leave you with is the push subscribers. So you can do this for your email, you can do this for SMS, for Facebook Messenger. If you focus your strategies on getting subscribers first, over half of people who install your app from the outset are going to end up opting in to receive push notifications. So now with that 50% push notification opt-in rate, you pay once for somebody to install your app on their phone. More likely than not, they are going to opt in to push. And now you can just continue to market to that person for that one price you paid for the app install, a few bucks maybe. You can continue to market to that person through push notifications in real time at no extra cost. So just really thinking about more long-term strategies with how you're spending your money on paid acquisition could reap a lot of benefits long-term. And that's how you're going to get a much higher return on your ad spend. So focus on subscribers. Don't necessarily focus on getting orders from the outset, and think about mobile app install campaigns as well. Thank you guys so much for listening, and girls, and hope you got something out of that.
Whoa, that was awesome. That was truly exceptional. I loved every bit of that, and I'm sure people did too. There's a ton of comments in the chat, people who definitely are going to be checking out Tapcart after this to try to get a beautiful mobile app built for them. A few questions before we let you off the hook, Sina.
There was one thing that I was going to elaborate on, actually, that I meant to do.
Ahead,
so
please.
I said this earlier, but we work with Fashion Nova. We work with these really huge brands, and a lot of people who install the Tapcart app, which is just a free app you can install from the Shopify App Store. We have a free trial. Just give it a try. They love the experience, but they just say, like, I love it, but my brand is just too small for an app. And ultimately, I don't believe that any brand can be too small for an app. Because when you think about it, as I mentioned earlier, the single biggest benefit of having an app is it lets you grow a list of push subscribers. And I look at it like, were you ever too early to start growing your email list? Probably not. Hopefully you were starting to grow that list before you even launched your website or your brand. And it's just something that the earlier you launched it and started growing it, the more value it shows over time. So I don't think you're ever too early to start a push notification list either.
Yeah, that's great additional context, and leads a little bit into the first question here from Bakir, who's asking, how does Tapcart help with generating new subscribers versus traditional methods?
Yeah, so it helps you get new subscribers through mobile app install campaigns. There's a few other ways to get push notification subscribers. There's some organic app methods that you can use to get people to download your app for free. One is to offer a one-time discount. So, download our app and save 20% on your first order placed in the app. Another is to offer app exclusive products or collections. Within Shopify, every product and collection, if you click on it, it has a sales channel visibility button. So you can just click on that. It shows you all your sales channels, like the online store, which is the website. You just uncheck that one and keep the mobile app checked. And now you have a mobile app exclusive product that's only available in the app. So if we had somebody who launched a new collection of swimwear and their mobile app the same week, and they told all their customers, download our app and you'll get exclusive access to that collection of swimwear for the first 3 days. It created this frenzy of people to start to actually download the app. It tells you a lot about consumer psychology, because you make somebody jump through a small hoop of downloading a free app, and now they get exclusive access. They're part of this community. And ultimately, they ended up selling out of the entire collection of swimwear in the first 3 days before it was even available on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. And do have a few other questions before we let you go. One here from Ayelet. It's a great question. How would this work with older demographics that don't even know how to use apps? They seem to do better with text and aren't as receptive to downloading an app. So how would you speak to the older demographic?
Yeah, that's a great point. So the way we look at it is there's only so long that the current process of having to go to the App Store, Log in, well, first like search for the app and then log into your Apple ID, download an app permanently on your phone and all that stuff. That's still happening, but that's going to quickly change. And I'll tell you why. In iOS 14, there was a new feature called App Clips. And this is actually totally streaming mobile apps that you can access and use like a part of an app without even having to go to the App Store, without even having to install it. So this is going to take off towards the later part of this year. We're going to be launching our first set of app clips as well. So somebody visits the website, we can pop up a card that says stream our app. We're going to do one with 460 shoppable Instagram. You can also like have an app load through a QR code or an NFC tag. So that's a great question. And fortunately, this very traditional method of having to like install your app permanently and do all that, it is a lot of friction and it is a lot to ask sometimes. But that's going to fortunately be changing soon. And you get to kind of try before you buy when it comes to it.
Oh, well, you're the gift that keeps on giving with that great knowledge bomb there. That's great. Last question, then we'll let you off the hook here is from Miriam. She's asking, does the app have an option to include Bluetooth for a device that's connected with, to, for an example, program time settings for these devices, or can you only shop with the app? So
you can either shop in the app or you can add content. So this goes to another question that I saw from Tiff. We want the app to be a lot more than just a shopping experience. Ultimately, what you can do is if you go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download one of our customers' apps, I'll see if I can get a QR code for it. But ultimately, what happens is within their app, they have a shopping experience, but they also have their blog. They also have their lookbook, a lot of other content, because that's what gets them to download the app in the first place. That's what gets people back into the app as well.
Awesome. That's amazing. All right. And then the last thing we have to do here is give away the special prize from Tapcart, which is Apple's new Apple TV 4K, which is a phenomenal prize. And so, Sina, if you don't mind, I'm just going to scroll through randomly here and pick one lucky winner, okay? Here we go. All righty. The lucky winner is Rebecca Miranda. So, Rebecca, congratulations. I have your email here. We'll contact you afterwards, get your shipping details, and we'll get that Apple TV sent your way. And yeah, thanks so much again, Sina, for joining us for a great presentation. And it seems like there's a lot of questions in there. So if you want to jump off and start answering a few of those questions, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that. Last quick thing is if you want to get out your camera on your phone and just point it at one of these QR codes, it'll prompt you to download one of our customers' apps. That'll give you a better idea of like what the whole experience is. So thanks again,
I'm
Chris.
Leave that here for
Yeah, if you can just leave it there.
Let's just leave this here for another 10 seconds.
Okay,
I'm getting my phone out. This is awesome. We've never had live demos. Whoops. Oh, this is so cool. Awesome. Hope everybody's getting their cameras out and downloading an app. Awesome. Thanks again so much, Tina.
Yep, you got it. Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks again. And I'll answer some of these questions in the chat. Thank you.
Awesome. Take care. All righty. We're going to keep going here. And just share my screen. Alrighty, cool. Well, we've had two great presentations so far. We're basically at the halfway point. Up next is Gorgias, and I'm lucky enough to be presenting for Team Gorgias here today. So a quick introduction to myself. My name is Chris, and I lead tech partnerships at Gorgias, which means I get to work really closely with all the great technology partners like the ones who were featured on the panel with us today. So really excited to be talking today about Gorgias and how it can help you with conversion. And so first things first, Gorgias is a customer support help desk that is built specifically for e-commerce merchants. So most of our merchants are on Shopify or Shopify Plus, but we also work with Magento and BigCommerce as well. We're built from the ground up for e-commerce, so everything looks and feels as though it does with all your other favorite Shopify apps. And really what our bread and butter is the level of automation and personalization that we can afford to you in interacting with your customers, which is obviously the major goal of great customer experience. In terms of who we work with over 6,000 D2C brands in the space, fashion, accessories, beauty, health and wellness, sports, you name it. Anyone who's really looking to level up their customer experience, they're able to deliver to their merchants. They're really looking to embrace modern e-com, automation, and personalization. Those are the merchants who are continuously flocking to Gorgias. And hopefully I'll be able to meet some of you today or afterwards who might be interested in checking out Gorgias for the first time. All right. let's get right into it. So let's talk about customer support. I know it might not be as obvious as a fit into the whole conversation around pre-sale conversion, but I'll tell you why you need to stop thinking about customer support as post-sale stress management and start thinking more of pre-sale opportunities to actually convert people who are messaging in. And so to start, let's think about why are customers even messaging you in the first place? And so we have a great chart here that was produced by Facebook last year, which shows a breakdown of what customers are contacting you about. And so you can see the breakdown here. Getting support, well, 75% of people who reach out are looking for some level of support. That's great. But even more than that, 83% of customers who reach out to you at any stage across any channel, they're actually looking to learn about a product or service or make a purchase. And so support, as I said, you don't want to just be thinking of, oh, this person has a problem, then maybe they're upset. It's actually a great opportunity to talk to somebody, leverage the information you have about them, which comes through, say, a Shopify integration, and then actually try to convert them into a paying customer. And so this is really important to understand that customers aren't just reaching out with problems, they're actually reaching out with questions. In the modern e-com world, it's not like a brick and mortar store where you can walk in, have a chat with a sales associate. You're relying on interacting with people from a brand online. And so if it's through live chat, email, phone, SMS, you need to be prepared to not just offer support, but also offer that sales tactics that you normally would in store. So let's transition into support and how that plays into this whole piece here. And so when it comes to great customer support, which is obviously the goal, one of the key stats you need to focus on, one of the key metrics is response time. So response time is how long does it take for you to actually address the customer, let them know that you've received their inquiry, you're going to reach back out to them. This is especially important for pre-sales opportunities. So if customers are asking you product-related questions and they haven't purchased yet, then you obviously want to have that first response time be as low as possible. And so at Gorgias, for all the merchants that work with us, we have them placed on tiers, which they can see which level they're at. And so 5 being the absolute best. And we only have 3% of customers right now who are actually at this level 5, which is less than 10-minute response time. Real Madrid soccer team is actually one of the 3% of merchants who have that less than 10-minute response time, which is what you expect from, say, Amazon. So that's the holy grail and the gold standard. If you're going into the 12 hours to 24 hours in the level 1, then you're missing out on a ton of opportunities, because by the time you actually get to that customer, they're not going to convert. They've probably left you and went to look at another competitor's site because you took too long to answer the question. So it's critically important that you build your customer support program so you can answer questions as fast as possible. And the key stat here that we have, which is truly remarkable, is that when you answer questions that come in via via chat or SMS within under 10 minutes, the conversion rate skyrockets up towards 28%, which if we compare that to standard conversion rates in the industry, which are, say, 1 to 3% for desktop and mobile, then that's a massive increase. And so that's why we're pushing so hard to get our merchants into this bucket, which is responding in less than 10 minutes. And so let's talk about where traditional help desks fall short in this regard. Why is it so difficult for brands, certainly as they're undergoing rapid growth, to really hit those high milestones? And the key 3 things that I can leave you with, which can really help you drive conversions, is you need to ramp up your automations. And so if you're spending all of your time answering questions manually, both for pre-sale and post-purchase related inquiries from customers, you're obviously going to take way too long to get to them, answer their questions. You're going to miss things, and obviously your customers aren't going to be left feeling satisfied. So you need to bake in as much automation as you can. I'll show you a little bit about how Gorgias makes it easy to do so. Another key piece here is actually having customer data and being able to leverage that in a personalized way. That plays into a huge role into generating sales through customer support. So, obviously we have more data than ever before. Gorgias pulls in a lot of data about the customer through our Shopify integration, for example. And so we train our customer support reps with our brands to actually leverage that information to upsell when actually you're talking to a customer. And so if you're not doing this, then that's a huge opportunity that you're going to miss out on. And then the final piece here is channel aggregation. Sina talked about how important omni-channel tactics are. It's a huge buzzword in the industry right now. You need to be leveraging all the different channels where your customers might be living, and being able to leverage the information you have about them to convert them throughout the funnel. So top of funnel, Instagram awareness, that's great. You need to be driving them down the funnel, making yourself available to chat with them in real time, or at least an AI chatbot, so you can give them the information they need so they will convert and make that purchase. And I should say, feel free to post questions. I know I'm the MC and presenter as well, so post your questions, and I'll definitely get to them after the presentation. All right, so let's transition now. I've told you about the problem, which is people are focusing on support as obviously a cost center. They think it's time consuming and doesn't really help with things like conversion. You need to change that mindset and realize that this is actually a golden opportunity. How often really in modern e-com do you actually talk to customers, whether it's in live time through chat, or even if it's just a bot talking to them? You know, it's rare to be able to speak to them, so you need to leverage that opportunity to help drive them through the funnel. And so I'll now talk about specific features of Gorgias that help you achieve just that and really turn support into a profit center. So one of the most important things that we do is we actually analyze quite carefully what your customers are asking you, our brands that work with us, so we can build our product around that to automate as much of those questions as we can, but also make it easy for you to turn support into a sales opportunity. So what I'm showing here is an analysis of 10,000 customer conversations or tickets that our merchants that work with us received last quarter. And it shows a breakdown of the most commonly asked question types. So you can see here, of all those 10,000 tickets, 33% of them were directly related to order status. So we know that as consumers, we'll message a brand, we'll say, where's my order? I'm pissed off, etc. So 33% of those tickets are coming in from that. And so you don't want any of these order status tickets to turn into canceled ordered, refund. And so it's critically important that you can answer these questions as fast as possible with automation, which our tool makes it quite easy to do. But there are also really important other question types here that, while in much smaller percentages, are still super important if you consider that some brands are getting 10 to 100,000 tickets a month. And so questions like product suggestion, product availability, product feedback, product question, pre-order question, these are all pre-sales questions that have direct impact on your conversion rates. And so by missing out on even these 3 and 4% questions, that's 3 and 4% conversion that you're losing by not having a support mechanism in place to address these questions as fast and efficiently as possible. And so this goes back to the whole narrative. It's like, yes, there's a lot of questions that are directly related to true support post-sale. We get that, but there's also a ton of pre-sale stuff that you can attend to with your support team. And that's really the big theme I'm trying to drive home today. And so how do we do that? Some table stakes stuff, and then we'll dive into the more nitty gritty, is our deep integrations with the major e-com platforms like Shopify mean we're pulling all that customer information in, no more switching tabs. We can put everything on autopilot. So when people ask you things like, hey, I'd like to update my shipping address, we can automatically have all that information available. You can manually answer, or you could have this be an automated answer. And so up to 30 to 40% of your entire ticket volume can be automated through our tools, which means you're going to have that first response time as low as possible, which again, less than 10 minutes is the Amazon gold standard that everybody's trying to get to. A key piece is our machine learning. So more important than ever, you need to understand what your customers are asking before you actually go in and read the questions that they're giving to you. So our machine learning will read the questions and posts that people are sending into your brand. They'll analyze the messaging, and then they'll apply a tag, which basically tells you what the intent of that message was. And so it could be shipping related question, it could be a product question, a pre-sale question. We'll detect that based on the language that your customers are using. We'll put that into the appropriate bin. So whatever customer support agent is responsible for managing those types of tickets, they know the moment that they go into that bucket that the tickets that they're going to look at are exactly intended to be for them. So say I'm a support agent, I handle VIP tickets or pre-sale tickets. I know that every ticket is going to be analyzed by the machine learning, tagged as such, and I know that I can go in there and answer those more efficiently. Or you could set it up for automation to handle that, which is a really powerful piece. And then the final piece that I'll touch on is the omni-channel approach. And so it's not enough to just be connecting with customers, offering support through email, phone, SMS, but you also need to be connecting with them on social media channels, which is huge. And so one of the most popular integrations that we offer is with our social channels like Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and coming this month, Instagram DMs, which means that if people are posting on one of your Instagram posts, we'll analyze that with our machine learning. We can detect it as positive or negative sentiment. That'll alert one of your support agents. It'll say, hey, someone's leaving really nice remarks or they're leaving really nasty remarks. Either way, you can get proactive, offer them a discount code, try to appease them, try to increase that conversion. And now with our DM capabilities, any conversations are going to be happening through your Instagram DMs or Facebook DMs, and people are asking questions, pre-sale stuff. you'll be able to actually interact with them in live time in a much more streamlined way, which has a huge impact on conversion. And then the final piece here is live chat. So live chat, can't speak enough about how much of an opportunity this is for you to drive sales. I know brands with us today are thinking, I don't want to have a high headcount on my support team. Automation is key. I want to keep my headcount as low as possible. That is true, but in the same sense, you still want to have some robust live chat capability baked into your customer support mechanism, because you can lead to huge benefits. And so I have some key stats here. Some notable ones are 75% of people who message in are messaging you to make a purchase. So if you don't have live chat turned on or available at all, then that's a huge missed opportunity that's going to really compromise your conversion rates. So you need to have at least somebody managing live chat, ideally for a certain window of time per day, but obviously getting to a point where you can offer 24/5 or even 24/7 at one point. And that has a huge impact on it. So Gorgias has a great live chat feature. We also have a self-serve portal. So if a customer is just coming back to check on an order status, you don't have to create a ticket. We can deflect that, and they can get all the answers they need without actually having to escalate to a live agent. And a quick case study, one of our favorite merchants, Marine Layer, they're a great California-based clothing brand. They've seen tremendous stats by leveraging Gorgias overall, but certainly our live chat. They saw a 68% decrease in resolution time, which is how long it takes to actually solve a customer's problem, essentially. But more importantly, they saw a 75% increase in sales generated through live chat, which just goes to show by answering questions faster, engaging with them in real time on live chat, answering product-related questions has a huge boost on your conversion rate. And then to top it all off, we make it really easy to track all sales-related metrics inside of Gorgias. So obviously, we're tracking classic support metrics like first response time, resolution time, total tickets, etc. We're also analyzing revenue-related tickets. So for instance, I'm helping Sina out. He's a customer of mine. I help him out, and at the end of it, I say, hey, I see that you're a big fan of our blueberry soda. Just to let you know, we've just launched our new orange soda. I think you might be a fan. Here's a 10% discount code. He says, great, I love orange soda. He redeems that coupon code. That'll be attributed as a sale inside of Gorgias, which will get tracked inside of our revenue dashboard. So you can literally see how many pre-sale tickets you had, how many of them converted, conversion rate, and total sales from support. You can segment it across across agents. And so this is all to say, like, support is great for the support, but you need to start thinking about them as sales agents as well, and arming them with the tools they need so they can start generating revenue from your support, which I think not a lot of brands or enough brands are thinking about currently. And that's it. As I said, I'm happy to answer questions once I get offline here. If you do have any questions and you're interested in checking out Gorgias, you can contact me at chris@gorgias.com. If you do contact me, I'm happy to offer you a free month of Gorgias to try it out risk-free, which I can assure is all the time you'll need to see the benefits of using Gorgias. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we're going to continue the show and bring on Francis from LimeSpot. You can come and join us on the stage there, Francis.
Yep.
Actually, hold on, sorry, Francis. I just had to go through and pick one lucky winner for our AirPod Pros, which Gorgias is giving away, so apologies for that. I'm just going to pick the lucky winner now. Actually, I just picked you, Francis, funny enough, so I'm going to have to scroll one more time. Sorry. All right. We have Carol Tompkins. So Carol, congratulations. I'm just going to take your email down. So Carol, congratulations. I'm going to be sending you a set of AirPod Pros. I'll have your email. I'll reach out afterwards and send those your way. Awesome, Francis. You can go ahead and share your screen if you'd like, and I'll tee you up for an introduction.
Super. Share screen.
Awesome. All right, while he's getting his screen set up, I'll just give him a quick intro. So Francis is the head of global partnerships with LimeSpot. The fun fact for Francis, which is definitely the best fun fact I've read so far, is he's planted over 1 million trees. I think that's pretty phenomenal, so congratulations on that, Francis. And Francis is driven by creating opportunities across the value chain, from shoppers and merchants to agencies, vendors, and communities. Real success is a non-zero-sum game. Can't agree more. Thanks so much for joining us, Francis. The floor.
Awesome, Chris. Thanks so much for the intro, and I want to thanks everybody who joined us today. It's great to see all of you here, and I just love this format. Also, short talks. There's so much information going. For those of you who are not familiar with LimeSpot, we offer an AI-driven merchandising platform that powers highly relevant shopping experiences. And this has the double effect of delighting customer, but also increasing the performance of your store, AOV, conversion rate, etc. One of our key value proposition is that we facilitate product discovery through personalization. And interestingly enough, this idea of process discovery feels very intuitive to most, but I've yet to come across a framework that allows brands to really be strategic about it. So what I want to share with you today is my exploration into creating such framework, and hopefully it's going to be useful in how you can think about better helping your customer discover products. So essentially, it's a pretty simple framework. So on the vertical axis, there are the two kinds of discovery that we find. So to find during a search, which is definitely an active step, or it's an active discovery because it really actually ties to an action. Whereas the one below is to find unexpectedly is a passive search where somebody stumble essentially across products that they may enjoy. On the x-axis, we have on the left the intent to fulfill a specific needs, such as I need a new pair of sneakers. And on the right, the intent that we have is to get inspired, such as what kind of sneakers are trending this summer. And so what this means is that we effectively have 4 areas where we can help customers be more successful in their discovery. And so if we take a customer-centric approach as online retailer here, our goal is to bridge as seamlessly as possible the gap between the intent the shopper has with the materialization of this intent. In other words, these 4 quadrants are potential point of friction or potential point to create really amazing experiences. And so I'm going to look at them bundled just because of time constraints. So starting with the green boxes and then with the blue boxes. In the scenario presented here, the shopper literally comes across something unexpected. So they didn't really have a plan for the discovery. And so there's not really a strong intent. And what this gives us as a merchant is the opportunity to shape that intent for them. Because it's relatively fluid, my recommendation would be to consider the proximity of the transaction to either create an unsuspected need or to surface a future need. So the closer the shopper is to the checkout process, the more you'll want to learn into the creation of a need. And this would be the classic case, for instance, for the upsell, cross-sell in the cart, where somebody comes and buys a pen, and then you have you show them that they have a need also for a spatula that won't scratch it, right? So they just discovered that need and they cover a solution that matched with that need. Another one could be, for example, to bump the cart size above the free shipping threshold, obviously giving you greater AOV, but also for them to find a solution to the problem, which is now not paying for shipping. So conversely, as we move further away from the transaction, so somebody lands on your site from a social media post, for example, you'll want to align your tactics more around inspiration. So the good rule of thumb there would be to guide these shoppers using a recommendation that align with proven successful products, such as most popular, trending, and in some instances, especially for a shopper who already know you, who already bought from you, new arrivals. So this state of finding unexpectedly allows us to be a little bit opportunistic here, and it's a great area to experiment and see what works best for your shopper and for your store. Now let's move to the top of the framework here, the blue boxes. Here, the shopper intent is much stronger because they're in active discovery mode. So our goal is less about shaping that intent as we did previously, but more about supporting it. So we can best support the intent of fulfilling a need by proposing relevant and viable solution, right? So if I'm looking for a pair of running shoes, don't recommend construction boots, right? So that's very basic. But great shopping experiences go beyond this and consider not only what people want, but who they are. So for instance, you may want to create a different experience for a new visitor or for a returning customer, obviously. And you may want to surface things about your brand that the returning customer we already know, and who may be more interested in exclusive products, for instance. Another way to think about this, or another example to think about this, on the collection page. So obviously you have the proper product showing up, but why not have the default orders, for instance, set from price low to high for your deal seekers and high to low for your high spender. And so it's all these little things that really create those really amazing and strong customer experiences. For those customers who are looking to get inspired, the strategies are relatively the same, but we can even take this further into shaping and creating a new experience, so that changing the whole content of a page, for instance. Like think about replacing hero images and call to action and headers to match a shopper's interest. So imagine you move to this new town, which has a big, mountain biking culture. And so you get into it, you go in stores, you check out the mountain bikes. And let me ask you this. Would you be more likely to be inspired by a page with an image showing somebody riding a mountain bike on a trail in the forest, or by seeing the image of someone with a road bike on the street, right? So by creating these little changes in your page, you can really create very strong result and help shopper fulfill, in that case, the need that they have to be inspired by product, and hopefully by doing so become the destination that they will be seeking once they're ready to buy. So I know this is a little bit dense, and this is the first time you've seen this model, but I'm curious, and if you want in the poll answer this question: which of these 4 quadrants do you think pose the greatest opportunity for your store to invest in? Or if you don't, if you're not a merchant, maybe which of those do you think you've seen the weakest and in your browsing experiences and could be strengthened? As we answer this, I'm looking forward to those answers. I wanted to leave you on this this very interesting graph here that shows the percentage of global users who are more likely to advocate for their favorite brand for specific reasons. And the two that we see at the top there, so product quality and rewards, tend to be similar over time and maybe slightly trending down. But the ones that are trending up at the bottom are those that are about creating greater human connection and being part of something larger. And by creating unique experiences that support this intuitive discovery, we really become, as merchant, an ally in supporting that and allow deeper connection to develop. And so to wrap things up, we as human are really curious, and we seek brands and experiences that support intuitive discoveries. And there's just no reason nowadays why retailers, with even like little financial or even time investment, can create these amazing experiences that are really engaging and that help shopper find the product they love. So I hope this this framework is useful. I look forward to your feedback. Reach out if you ever need some intro here at LimeSpot to help you with personalizing your experience. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate that, Francis. We do have a few questions. Nicole Brown, she left a comment saying, changing the hero image based on locations is genius. Wow. I think a lot of brands are definitely in agreement of that. A few questions before we let you go. One came in, how relevant is your framework across verticals?
Well, I would say relevant in that, it's just a way to think about the customer journey to some degree, right? The discovery process. So obviously every brand has a different, set of product, different set of shopper, but I would say that's pretty scalable. And the purpose of me doing this today was just to plant this idea and give you the 4 quadrants to think about and see what's most appropriate for your shoppers.
Got it. Another one here is, for someone just starting with personalization, what would be your top recommendations?
Yeah.
No, it's kind of open-ended.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot, but here's the thing. So personalization is great for the crawl, walk, run approach, right? And so start small. Some of the things that we know that are really valuable, for example, is the recently view box. You should consider this almost as part of your navigation, right? So we see a lot of revenue, obviously, through this in our app. Other things is, like, if you look at the framework as well, look at the intent. So the closer you are to the transaction, the more you'll want to be a specific, more most popular related item, that kind of stuff. Whereas if you go on the homepage, consider box such as feature collection or something a little softer. So start small, experiment, build on success, rinse and repeat.
That is great. And then the final question for you is, is the content segmentation like A/B testing?
So not really. So in that case, if we're changing the hero based on geolocation or based on segment, for example, so you're trying to address a specific persona, a specific micro persona, somebody who fits certain criteria, though you could A/B test for that segment, if you will. So they're, I would say, complementary tactics.
Awesome. Perfect. There's a few more questions in the chat I'll leave you to answer once you hop off. But for now, we're going to get to the lucky winner.
All right.
As you can see on the screen here, LimeSpot has offered up a beautiful pair of Skull Candy wireless headphones, which is a great prize. So I'm just going to scroll through now. Eyes closed. Who's the lucky winner going to be? We have Kelly McCullers. So Kelly McCullers, congratulations.
Congrats, Kelly.
Beautiful set of headphones coming your way. I have your email. I'll contact you afterwards to get your address, and we'll have those shipped out to you. So congratulations. And thanks so much again, Francis.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna finish strong here. Really excited to welcome Ryan from Sezzle to the stage. Hey Ryan, how are you?
Hey guys, doing well. How are you?
Good. How's the Champions League match going?
I unfortunately turned it off, so I couldn't tell you.
He's committed.
Yeah.
Committed. That's how good the webinar is. A stout soccer fan tuned into this webinar. Love it. Well, look, Ryan, you go ahead and get your screen shared going, and then I'll tee you up with an introduction. Awesome. Yeah, so Ryan is a senior account executive with our friends at Sezzle. His fun fact is he's an avid bridge jumper until he tore his meniscus and needed 4 surgeries. So I'm not sure if that's a current fun fact. And yeah, so he works now with Sezzle, which is North America's most chosen buy now, pay later solution. He focuses on expanding the mission of financially empowering the next generation. In his free time, he enjoys playing soccer and the endless knee injuries that come along with it. Well, thanks so much for joining us today, Ryan. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the intro, Chris. So just to set an agenda today, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the macro trends that we're noticing in payments in general and how COVID overall has really accelerated or kind of exacerbated those trends. What we've done as a company to really change and modify our product overall, just to ensure that we're really going to bat for our customers, knowing we sit in, at least from our perspective, a pretty happy middle ground, where we processed nearly $1 billion in transactions last year, but we've also, for our 5 million shoppers, become the preferred method of payment for about 80% of them. So it's a really great spot for us, as we can, of course, leverage a lot of payment data on existing shoppers when they check out at like sites, and as we onboard thousands of new merchants like we did with 16,000 new merchants last year, we can then properly send data based on that purchase history for a specific shopper through our different channels. So excited to walk through this today with everyone. And so for those of you that haven't heard about buy now, pay later, or the market in general, it's actually the fastest growing payment method on the planet. So when you compare it to a private label credit card, a standard credit card in general, It's growing about 3x the speed of just credit cards overall. And now, why is that? There's a couple of different reasons. In the US, for example, the credit market really tightened up quite a bit after 2008. No more marketing on college campuses. The age restriction was raised. And then in Canada, we're noticing that quite a few shoppers are simply carrying a monthly balance on their credit card. So there's been a really strong gravitation towards alternative payment methods, different ways to pay, but really focusing on how can you pay without interest? How can you pay with great repayment terms? How can you reschedule payments or utilize both a bank account or a debit card to check out with a transaction? And also what's been a huge game changer for us, especially after listening to many of our customers, is going to be helping them build credit. And so these are all some of the things that we've done to, go along with some of these trends of just installment-based lending growing so quickly. But also just realizing why alternative methods have become so important for our customer base. And a lot of that gravitates around trust. So 42% of shoppers in the US have actually said that they're not going to complete a purchase if their preferred method of payment isn't offered. And about 20% of US customers are saying that they confidently check out on a sort of alternative payment method. So all these trends and stats combined have, really further validated our position in the market. But have gone to show that, especially just given the idea of paying in installments over time without interest has been an easy way to check out. Oh, did my screen just drop off, or are you still seeing that?
Yeah, it did drop off.
All right.
Actually, yeah, it did.
One moment. There we go.
We're back. We're good to go.
And so looking at some similar stats, we did a fairly broad survey with the Center for Generational Kinetics last year that really further validated the survey data that we had internally from our millions of shoppers. One of them is installment-based solutions are going to make it easier for shoppers to check out on new brands, and they're also going to come to check out more often. And interestingly enough, shoppers with Sezzle are checking out around 5 times per year. And about 89% of them are actually repeat shoppers. So they're checking out on, different sites over the course of the year. So when I talk about being that happy medium and sitting in that middle ground, our product is really exciting because what we do is really twofold. It's one, just simply sitting on a website directly below the price point where a shopper will see or 4 interest-free installments of X with Sezzle, but we're also a marketing channel. When you look at Sezzle.com, it's effectively an online marketplace for all the different sites that we work with. I think you can cross-shop on probably 15 to 20,000 different sites on our directory, which is of the roughly 30,000 brands that we work with in North America. So and our marketing team has done a great job of looking at secular events or holidays, or take Women's Month, for example, and we had a huge spread highlighting all the female-owned boutiques and businesses that we built or work with, of course. And so it's been a really good way for us to not only really drive a more engaging and valuable customer for our retailers just directly on their website, but also be a strong source of referral traffic. So a little bit of background on our company overall. We've been in business since 2016 and have a really experienced, fintech background. Our CEO and quite a few of the members on our development team came from Passport, who builds white label parking apps. If you ever use the Green P in Toronto, for example, they built the white label version of that. We've got over 3 million active customers in North America right now. And as I've mentioned a few times, nearly 30,000 retail partners. But more importantly, this year we just became a certified B Corp. Only 3,500 of them on the planet. And why we shifted in this direction is because we noticed buy now, pay later overall, and I'm sure there are tons of you on this call that either use Sezzle or another provider, and have probably noticed that it works if you do, regardless of which provider that you've used. But the big value here is that not only are we just providing our customer base with a more valuable shopper, we're helping them build credit along the way. This is one of the pillars for why we became a B Corp in the first place, but have become the highest consumer rated solution because of how we really double down on our mission and purpose of financially empowering the next generation. And so to do so, we realized, and similar to all the stats that we were talking about at the beginning, we listen to our customers a hell of a lot. And one of the most requested for features was building credit. And so we implemented that into the solution. It's really turned the solution into something that's more engaging as our shoppers in the cohort that's now opted into our product called Sizzle Up shop more frequently than other shoppers, because it's now effectively been gamified. They can see their credit score build over time with positive repayment behavior through Sizzle. And that's something that they can't get with any other buy now, pay later solution. And now 82% of our shoppers have said that they're going to buy more from a brand that is aligned with their social values. And we think that that speaks for a payment method as well. So for really what we're doing along the same lines of that alignment is committing to build or plant a tree for each new user. So Francis, hopefully our team can catch up to your million here very shortly. Committed to be carbon neutral by the end of this summer. So just another couple examples of how we're really doubling down on both aligning our purpose right next to our profit. And then finally, what does this mean for you as a retailer? So when you look at your customer base and the processing volume that is currently coming through, whether it be PayPal or your credit cards, we're trying to double down on that volume by focusing on a couple of things. So converting more shoppers to buyers, we tend to see a lift in conversion rate anywhere from 5 to 15% of your overall conversion rate. And then also increasing the average order values, typically 20 to 30% lift there. Now that's more dependent on what your current average order value is, as the solution itself is fairly industry agnostic. I see a question from Tiff. Yes, we do process CBD. Onyx and Rose, for example, by Katie Hearn is one of our favorite brands. And then finally, gaining access to new shoppers and taking on the risk. The great thing about Sizzle is even though the shopper is paying in 4 installments over 6 weeks without interest, we're still paying you as a retailer next business day in full, and then covering all of their risk of missed, late, negligent payments, anything like that, or including fraud. So you can trust that when you add something like Sizzle, which on a platform like a WooCommerce, Shopify, or BigCommerce can be turned on and fully activated in under a half an hour, it's just a really simple add-on for you to see more actionable customers directly on your site, but also being sent from our marketplace. So in the I guess looking at time here, probably don't need to spend too much time looking at the specific case study, but Touch of Modern has been one of our great partners for the last, I'd say, year and a half. They were testing us along with another competitor in the US for a period of 3 months, and actually turned the test off after a month and went fully live with Sizzle. And the main reason for that was they saw projections of roughly 11% increase in revenue over the course of the year, which ended up mapping out. But more importantly, their increase in cart insertion rate and conversion rate was better than the other provider. So right now we've become truly a material processor for Touch of Modern, bringing them more engaging, more valuable customers over time. And then finally, just a couple additional reinforcing statistics really taken from our customer base, which the reason why we put so much value in what we hear from our customers is we haven't typecast ourselves as a buy now pay later focusing on one industry and just looking at fashion and apparel. We've done a great job, and as you look at our 30,000 retail partners, at working in a variety of different industries. And now this has given us what we think is superior data, knowing that we have shoppers of all different backgrounds, walks of life, but purchasing tendencies. And so when we look at that data, it's great for us to look at how important Sizzle has been to them and buy now, pay later in general. And given nearly 100% of our shoppers have said they'd spend more if Sizzle were offered as a payment method. They trust us. 84% are seeing that their financial information has been kept secure. People saying that they wouldn't have made a purchase if we weren't an option. And at the end of the day, helping them managing spend due to COVID. We've actually initiated a new product feature where shoppers can increase the amount of time that they have to pay their installments, so they can push them back twice at no charge up to 4 weeks, which really extends the 4 installments over 6 weeks up to 10 weeks, just giving a little more runway, especially for those that maybe have been laid off or furloughed due to COVID. So it really just speaks to our technological proficiency of being able to listen to our customers, reason with them, and at the end of the day, release new product features that are going to help them out. And then finally, to my point earlier about those of you who I'm sure are either using Sezzle or using a different provider, this the idea around buy now, pay later in general is really transitioning towards what the credit market has become. You offer Amex and Discover, Visa and MasterCard, and shoppers are now really given the customer choice of which method they prefer the most. So there really is not a downside to offering multiple options on your site, because when you look at Sezzle's market and Afterpay, Affirm, Klarna, they're working with different sites. They have different missions. They have different product features that shoppers value. And so when you look at, a prime to be customer that is looking for an alternative method that can make their overall financial livelihood better, i.e. building credit to give them better access to a better credit limit or credit card in the future, Sezzle is the only one that can do that. So if you're interested in learning a bit more about us, definitely come on to Sezzle.com. Take a look, sign up for a demo. I'm sure someone on our sales team, based on your industry, would be more than happy to have a conversation and tell you a bit more about what we're hearing in particular in your space. I know this conversation itself was kind of broad and focused on, all industries in general, but always happy to have that conversation. Go ahead, check out our marketplace on Sezzle.com, download the app. It's fully transactional and will give you a better picture of what your shoppers would interact with. And yeah, happy to answer any questions at this time if there are any.
Well, that was phenomenal. Truly, Ryan. I know the chat was just popping off there. I'm sure you saw that. Ton of great feedback, a ton of questions. We do have some time, so I'm gonna just pepper you with questions to finish up, if that's all right.
Let's do it.
Cool. So I'll start off. Actually, I posted one of your poll questions, which was just asking if people are implementing a buy now, pay later solution, and 75% said yes. So what say you to those 25% of brands with us today that aren't implementing a buy now, pay later solution? What's the one thing that you would say to them? I know you just said a lot, but what's one thing you'd say to them to get them over the hump?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's a similar one to, I see a couple additional ones just asking really what makes us different in the market. And I think the key factor is going to be, of course, being a B Corp. But when you look at trying to not cannibalize the same type of shoppers that are already checking out in your current buy now, pay later, our approval rate across the board sits between 90 and 92%. And the way that we're able to do that is by approving people that have below a 600 FICO score, which we've seen Affirm has been unable to do, along with some other providers. So using different methodology outside of simply a soft credit check and looking at utility and bill providers like a Verizon or TELUS in Canada to see if utility payments have been made on time, will allow that to actually build a shopper's credit profile out. To actually approve what we see as a prime to be or subprime customer, where some of our other buy now, pay later counterparts are unable to approve them. So that gives us a much better ability to provide retailers, especially those that are currently not using Sezzle, with an immediately actionable user base, as our shoppers are, of course, now using what's become a gamified platform to continue building their credit score. And this is, it doesn't look like there are a ton of enterprise retailers on here as well, but also it helps us, further funnel shoppers into the private label card funnel.
Got it. Yeah, that's a great answer. Segues into this one from Nicola. How do you determine how much credit you approve for a new customer? And apologies if you answered that.
Yeah, and it is really a case-by-case basis, but we have an internal proprietary algorithm that looks at initially a soft credit check, those additional linkages from utility and bill providers. Our goal is that we can always approve a shopper for $300 unless it's fraud. And then, of course, there's the different methodologies and partnerships that we've built internally to see how we can build that profile up.
Got it. And then another one here from Michael. Are you planning to introduce more than a different number of installments and or payment frequencies in Sezzle? And then they also added, by the way, this is indeed a game changer.
Well, I appreciate that sentiment, and we definitely think so, and think our 30,000 retail partners think so also. But we are actively working on a longer-term solution in the US and finding a partner in Canada as well. Up until this point, it's been effective for us to only focus on one method, and that's why you'll see, many of the retail partners that we have right now tend to have an average order value below 1,000. But as we build that new product out and hopefully launch it within the next quarter or so, you'll start to see products that have a $800,000 plus average order value, like a Peloton-esque retailer starting to use a product like Sezzle.
Right. And then the last one, and I'll let you off the hook, comes in from Meredith Ward. She's asking, when will Sezzle for retail checkout be coming out?
So I'm assuming Meredith is talking about retail just via in-store. So right now we actually just this last week released our virtual card in the US to be accessed by SMB. So just based on your MID, you can give that to Sezzle. Will allow you to actually turn on our virtual card at your in-store locations. Now in Canada, we're a little bit more beholden to the tap-to-pay limitations that are at $250 right now, just based on the networks. It's not something we can control. So hopefully that's going to change here in the next 6 to 12 months is our hope. But we're also looking at a couple different direct integration options for POS. So hopefully that answers your question. But Meredith, if it doesn't, I'll have my email in the comments as well, and more than happy to answer offline.
Yeah, it sounds like it did answer. It sounds like she's anxiously waiting for that, as I'm sure many others are. All right, cool. The finish up here, we're going to do the special giveaway from Sezzle, which is an awesome JBL Flip 5 Bluetooth speaker. I'm going to do what I do and just scroll through here and see who the lucky winner is. Let's do it. Alrighty. Lucky winner is Alina Woderick. So Alina, congratulations on winning this beautiful branded speaker. I have your email. We'll contact you afterwards, get your shipping address, and we'll have that fired away to you. And cool, yeah, thanks again, Ryan. That was truly phenomenal. I learned a ton. I know the brands with us today did. Definitely recommend checking out Sezzle. Contact Ryan. He'll be able to get you set up. And thanks to all of our speakers who joined us today, and certainly thanks to all the brands that tuned in. We still have over 100 people on air with us, which is pretty phenomenal, given that this was a 90-minute webinar. So thanks again. Reach out to us. This video will be sent to you, so it'll be available on YouTube in case you missed it or want to watch it again. And with that, we'll see you guys in our next webinar. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.